There's a sentence you've heard so many times, you now believe it's true. Maybe it's something about yourself. Maybe it's something about the world around you. Maybe it's something you repeat to other people, like it's a fact. But here's the disturbing part. It was never true. You just heard it enough times, and your brain did the rest. Today we're going to talk about one of the most dangerous psychological phenomena ever discovered. It has a name. It has a mechanism. And once you understand how it works, you will never consume information the same way again. Let's start with a simple question. Have you ever heard that we only use 10% of our brains? Of course you have. Almost everyone has. It gets repeated in movies, in motivational speeches, in classrooms. People say it with complete confidence. There's just one problem. It's completely false. Brain scans show that we use virtually all of our brain, and most of it is active almost all the time. Neuroscientists have known this for decades, and yet the myth lives on, not because people are stupid, but because the lie was repeated over and over and over again until it felt like the truth. This is not an accident, and this is not just about brain myths. This is happening to you right now, in ways you haven't even noticed. In 1977, two psychologists named Lynn Hasher and David Goldstein ran a study that would change everything we thought we knew about belief. They showed participants a list of statements, some true, some false. Then weeks later, they showed them the same statements again. And here's what they found. The statements people had seen before, even the false ones, were rated as more true the second time around. Not because participants remembered them as facts, but simply because they felt familiar. They called this the illusory truth effect, and it means something terrifying. Familiarity and truth feel identical to your brain. Read that again. Your brain cannot reliably tell the difference between something that is familiar and something that is actually true. This isn't a flaw in stupid people. This was found across all education levels, all ages, all backgrounds. The effect works on everyone, including you, including me. Here's why this happens. Your brain is not designed to find the truth. Your brain is designed to survive. And survival requires efficiency. You cannot deeply analyze every single piece of information that enters your mind. There are thousands of them every day. So your brain takes shortcuts. One of those shortcuts is called cognitive fluency. When information enters your brain and processes easily, smoothly, without friction, your brain interprets that smoothness as a signal of truth. And what makes information process easily? Familiarity. Things you've encountered before, things that feel known. So when a lie is repeated, it stops feeling like a lie. It starts feeling like background knowledge, like something you've always known, like common sense. And common sense, as we all know, is very hard to argue with. Now here's where it gets personal. This isn't only happening in politics. It isn't only happening in advertising. It's happening inside your own head, about yourself. Think about the things you believe about who you are. Maybe you believe you're not smart enough. Maybe you believe you're unlucky. Maybe you believe that people like you don't succeed. Maybe you believe you're too much, or not enough, or fundamentally broken in some way. Where did those beliefs come from? Chances are, someone said something once, maybe twice, maybe they said it casually, without even thinking. A parent, a teacher, a friend, an ex. And then your own mind repeated it, in quiet moments, in moments of failure, in moments of comparison, until it stopped feeling like an opinion someone once had about you, and started feeling like a fact about who you are. The illusory truth effect doesn't care whether the original source was malicious or careless. It doesn't care whether the statement was said out loud or whispered inside your own skull. Repetition is repetition, and repetition creates belief. But it goes even deeper. Researchers found something that should genuinely disturb you. In a 2015 study, participants were warned. They were explicitly told before the experiment. Some of these statements are false. Be careful. Think critically. It didn't matter. The illusory truth effect worked anyway, even when people were on guard, even when they were trying to think critically. The repeated statements still felt more true, because this effect doesn't operate through conscious reasoning. It operates below awareness, in the part of your brain that processes the world before your conscious mind even gets involved. You cannot think your way out of it in real time. You can only understand it after the fact. And understanding it, truly understanding the mechanism, is the only defense that actually works. So who is using this against you? Everyone who has something to gain from your belief. Advertisers repeat slogans until they feel like wisdom. Politicians repeat narratives until they feel like history. Social media algorithms repeat content that triggers you until your outrage feels like truth. People in your life repeat stories about who you are until you start living inside those stories. This is not conspiracy. This is design. The most powerful communicators in the world have understood this principle for centuries, long before psychologists gave it a name. Hitler's propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels wrote about it openly. He called it the principle of simplification and repetition. Say one thing, say it simply, say it constantly, and the population will believe it. You might be thinking, that was a different time. People are smarter now. We have fact checkers, we have the internet. But consider this. The internet doesn't slow down repetition. It accelerates it. A piece of misinformation shared 1 million times creates 1 million moments of familiarity, 1 million small deposits into the bank of false belief. By the time the fact check arrives, if it arrives, the lie already feels like home. Here's the twist that most people miss. Knowing about the illusory truth effect does not make you immune to it. You now know the name. You understand the mechanism, and the effect will still work on you tomorrow, because knowledge lives in your conscious mind, and this effect operates somewhere your conscious mind doesn't fully reach. What actually helps is something different. First, slow down before you repeat anything. The moment you are about to share information, pause. Ask yourself, do I actually know this is true, or does it just feel true? Those are two very different things, and your brain will not automatically tell you which one it is. Second, notice what you've been told repeatedly about yourself, not to obsess over it, but to ask honestly, is this a fact, or is this a familiar lie that has had enough time to calcify into identity? Third, deliberately expose yourself to repetition of things that are actually true. Read the same good ideas multiple times, return to them. Let the illusory truth effect work in your favor for once, because it will work regardless. The only question is what you feed it. Here is what I want you to walk away with today. Your beliefs are not entirely your own. Some of them were installed by repetition before you were old enough to question them. Some of them are being installed right now by systems that benefit from your certainty. This doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. The illusory truth effect is not a bug in a broken mind. It is a feature of an efficient one. The brain that shortcuts familiarity into truth is the same brain that learned language, built civilization, and allowed you to navigate an impossibly complex world without freezing in analysis every 30 seconds. But efficiency has a cost, and the cost is this. You must become the person who occasionally stops, looks at what they believe, and asks, did I choose this? Or was it simply repeated to me until choosing felt unnecessary? Because the most dangerous lies are never the ones that shock you. They are the ones that feel like they've always been true.